Hello, welcome to 5 Minute Fitness. I'm just going to call it that because I want to keep these videos short and sweet, around 5 minutes. If you have 10 years in the gym and you know exactly what you're doing, fuck off. This video is not for you. If you don't, or if you're still learning, maybe stick around. I mainly want to speak about training, not testing. So, what do I mean by that? Imagine you wanted to get better at history as a subject, and every day you just took a test, an exam. You're probably not going to get much better. So it's the same in the gym or with exercise. I'm sure it applies to many other things. Effectively, if you're always going in, pushing the limit or trying to do better than next time, better than the last time, sorry, like Greg Doucette might say, train harder than last time. I don't really agree with that at all because I 100% don't agree with that at all because you'll burn out too fast. You will lose appetite for the gym. You will fall off the wagon, like I've done a million times. You know, you go in the first 2 weeks, you're full of beans. You are making what seems progress. You kind of every second or third workout, you're able to, bump up the weight quite a lot. That's just your body getting used to lifting a bit heavier, and you're kind of reaching more or less where you should be lifting. So it's not necessarily progress. It's kind of dusting off the cobwebs. Now, today in this video, I am doing a little bit of testing. This is the last set of deadlifts, and I went for it was like three sets of five, not overly heavy. I'm just kind of seeing more or less how I get on with that's 127.5. And deadlifts is something I only started doing again maybe in the last month or two. Never been, immensely strong at them at all. But today is a back day anyway, and just kind of feeling out some heavier weights. Same on this lat pull down. Um, but anyway, yeah, when you're in the gym, the first time you train with 65%, more or less, 65, 70% of your max weight that you can do, it's going to feel a little bit light. And you're kind of like, oh, this is way too light. But as soon as you do, 4 or 5 sets, like, you'll be toast. And especially when you start to build up volume over the weeks, it will catch up on you. So even if the weight feels very, very light, it's not a waste of time. And you are improving the movement as it should be done. So another thing to think about is when you're lifting any weight, any exercise, the reason you're lifting that weight, in my opinion, is the most important factor of how well you're going to perform. If you just want to move the weight from A to B, you're not going to be thinking about the form you're using, and other muscles are going to get involved, and you're just going to shift the weight from A to B. Whereas if you change the mindset and you try and think of, what do I actually want to do in this movement? Well, I want to feel the muscle. You're going to lift in a different way. You're going to potentially drop the weight because sometimes at heavier weights, you can't feel the muscle. You don't feel the squeeze, you don't feel the tension, and you drop the weight and it feels way, way better. That's the sweet spot. And consistently being in that kind of area week on week is where you're going to see the real progress. And then after, like, maybe every 2 months, you can have a test day. So you've been training for weeks. It's not been specifically difficult or overly difficult, I should say, but you're training, you're improving, and sometimes you may not feel those improvements, but they are getting better. You are getting better at moving the weight, and when you get to that day of testing, you're going to be pleasantly surprised, which is kind of what happened today. I was pleasantly surprised. At the moment, I'm working a lot on weaknesses, so areas of the body that I deem to be less strong. That doesn't need to be complicated. So the areas for me would be my core, my core again, kind of stability in general, my forearms and my shoulders. I mean, this is a back day, but every time I do even like bicep curls with the standing cable, my whole body is vibrating. Or if I do some planks, so that's just general weakness in the core, and I'm going to try and improve that. Or I have been trying to improve that a lot, because I found it's probably the most beneficial way to increase the bigger compound lifts, like deadlifting, like squats. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. These videos again are going to be a little bit all over the place, but just a little chat about that. I guess the thing to take away is, do not go and push the limiter every time. I've just realized I've been holding the mic sideways, so I have no idea how that came out. But anyway, take her handy, go for consistency, go for the long game. Don't go in and just be throwing up silly weights.